Family Leonardo, me Nasila did on multimedia, the CEO voice of Salon. Today I come for talk to now, my family, make una continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel and share to our friends them. As we always try to bring on the latest news what they happen around Salon, whether it be politics or any other news them, what they happen or gossip, what they bring out to una live and direct. So please, my family, don't forget to subscribe and share to our friends them. You wanna touch the bell icon so that you no miss any video we will try for bring out to una. So that's also we want make una don't forget also for subscribe to we TikTok channel on TikTok and also on Facebook or Facebook page or the Voice of Salon or also the on Instagram Voice of Salon. Please family, and don't forget to share. Okay, thank you now. Tata.
Me, family, una good afternoon, una good evening, or una good morning. This na una program again, Salon Cashbox. Me family, today na the 13th, May 13, 2025. You know, every time I do audio, the 13, I always that song like Toti Masa Tute, but it always they come to me. I don't know why. Anyway, Wadawadia, Tutulele, Tila follow me. I mean, no, just follow me blindly. By the way, make sure you do research yourself, salon people. And salon people, una not make for follow me, una just if even una follow little bit to side they care una go. Make sure say the rest of the journey, una lead other people and to some extent even lead me as well. Salon people, today I want come and talk hopefully, Bokutin them go be clarified today. I want to talk about waiting a title, blame our stupidity. And I'm sorry if I'm being harsh. Blame our stupidity, not privatization. You see, salon people, and especially students, economic students, finance students, accounting students, una make sure say una listen this audio today. Very, very important. Very important. If possible, maybe since I want to write una thesis. If elective, una write about this and even do more research about it. Research about in failures, about in success. Make sure you do. But salon people, I want to talk today about let's don't blame privatization, especially in Africa. Blame our stupidity, especially in Africa. To some extent, even in this country, you know why make the West, it fail most of the time? It is because the cronies, the millionaires and the billionaires, that is their way. That way, the Africa, where would they corruption? You go see Mother Bio take $250 million from within Basel. Bamba, the Santem witch corruption. Here in Babadi. In deforest, we country them. We especially in the north. I see when the Mother Bio launch one CTC mining port. Namafoki. Ibrahim reminded us about it. Where then they boast to say they don't make this sport. Oh, we own 50%. 50% go left now the country and all that in there. You see, it all goes back to the problem where we get now we country. We don't even know. We don't find we BR in it safe at all. We don't even find we BR in. Salon, we don't even know waiting we get, waiting we worth. We don't know. You know, salon people, the reason why privatization they fail in the West, because the cronies them, they use them, the billionaires. This is how then corruption they take place. Then they do them for benefit, you know, their own paddy oh yeah. The billionaires club, the millionaires club. They create avenue for them. But the concept of privatization, it's a powerful, powerful tool. And some people I want to teach, or especially the students, about it. You see, salon people, privatization, nothing where they even use as a hedging strategy. HEDGING, hedging. You know, in other words, you say hedging also mean like an insurance, like tick bien domot, just in case. Hedging, you hedge your position for downside risk. And people then they use them for profit making. Yes. But you see, salon people, when I do this audio, I want to make we know one thing. So everything where we do in our life, now debt we they take. So everything. You know, I can remember where people in the talk like, oh, Africa don't need debt. That's not true. So everything where we do in our life, now debt. If you decide for go land book, that debt you don't take for make you succeed. It could well be say that debt stay. If you don't handle them well, if you be careless, it will fail you. So everything, even the equity ownership, now debt. The only thing, the reason why they distinguish like equity and like that straight debt, it is because of like, you know, the downside risk, like the debt always they kind of like, you know, take preeminence and they can first place. Then they prioritize them for me them pay them off first. Like the equity holders them, that then be at the largest risk. Hence the reason why most of the time now they can kind of like get a big reward in the form of dividend. But you look at it back, dividend are just like when you pay interest no more to you debt them. So everything what we do na debt. You born picking self where you feed them, especially in the African setting, where you feed them na debt. Now you take in case tomorrow. But you see some people you can you can use privatization as a hedging strategy. In other words, as insurance, as like for the Bambai, keep tick bien domot. You can use them for cash flow purposes. You know, like one of the 3 top mantra right now of Donald Trump in government, na TTD. Wait till I refer to TTD. Tariff, tax, and deregulation. In other words, when you deregulate, you see, one of the things them where can make privatization fail and succeed na regulation. But what in Donald Trump they try for do now for deregulate. In your way where they use them, it say when you deregulate, in other words, when you know put too much law to certain thing them. You know, like for instance, like today, I think the UK self they try for deregulate certain thing them. Like today, they announce another like 5% increase in like the pension fund them where they for use into the private sector in the UK, which could well be about 50 billion pounds. Well be like, so in other words, like the pension fund right now is about 1 trillion pounds, because if 5% is 50 billion, then surely 100% would be 1 trillion pounds. That is all part of deregulation, but it gets a risk because you don't expose them to so much risk. Normally, pension fund not in them way, like then they look at closely, not to so they actually kind of like they release them. Now I make most pension funds them, they only be invested into blue chip companies them, top-notch companies them. So even when they deregulate like that, a possible say there is a risk. A possible say people them go lost their money. So it's a kind of like, a balancing act, finding when you don't take too much risk and lose so much, but at the same time, take some risk and kind of like, expand the economy. Some people, I'm saying this for make we kind of like get a concept. As I always don't say, just because people they use privatization the wrong way does not mean or does not say that privatization is wrong. It's how you use it. The reason why privatization they use them as like a hedging strategy, insurance. Let me look at this. If now we kind of like, now we they sell with iron ore, with diamond, with gold. For instance, like the diamond market now, I don't say why I don't tell on salon people you see, if some per week you want to make boast about the things they will don't tell una and what you will not tell una, trust me, salon people it's easy for make a boast about so many things then. If I go to like the currency auction, I go to like the redenomination of we currency. I told you guys that they fail. I tell you now about the diamonds, like how do they produce lab diamonds? Them now companies in Botswana they struggle because the price of diamond don't go down because of lab diamond, artificial diamonds are now being manufactured. So it affects the price of diamond. I really ought to make mention of it. One day, with diamond they go turn like past they use them as orange candle for play church for the play cage. Now you no more going to use now the stone people there with because it would not worth anything. This is the reason why make hay while the sun shines. Even countries that will get powerful oil, they now because they know like the emergence of like the wind turbines, the green energy, it will affect them one day. This is the reason why Saudi Arabia, they're willing. I remember Mama Salon actually say this. They're willing for sacrifice their culture and religion just so they can move with the trend of the world. Just so they can move with the trend of the world. They're willing for sacrifice, even to the extent their religion, religious belief, and compromise them for the sake of like the trend of the world. Some people, you hedge in position. You see, for instance, they say we get lithium in the salon. There was a research where we say there could well be loads of lithium na Mars, planet Mars. What if Elon Musk begin Fenway Alpha go take lithium na Mars? First I come on Earth. A lithium in Sierra Leone no mean nothing. Nothing. Some people, I'm saying this. I tell you, I say, you can use privatization for hedge your position. You can use privatization for cash flow purposes. Like an injection of cash where you go use for so many things then. You go use privatization for make you kind of like, secure the citizens then tax for make it be lower. So for many people and they say, oh, privatization, they rip off the citizens. It's not true. Because when things are left in the hands of government, when it fails, they go back to like the people and for increase their taxes. in the UK, the NHS. In this April, we pass so they increase the national insurance. We make companies them actually lay off people them. Is that not affecting like the social well-being of the citizens? It does. But the NHS is nationalized. Some people, you know, this is the thing where I want make we focus on. I give example a few months ago where I say, what if like to like the Tonkolili mine, we then say we get 200, you know, 200, we can make 227 billion every year from, you know, like the iron ore in Tonkolili alone. They say we for mine up over 60 years. Salon people. Imagine 27 billion a year. Let we say we lease them for 10 years, 20 years. For 10 years, the revenue we go generate from that is like $270 billion. The revenue for 10 years. Imagine if we actually go and say to a privatized company where we look after them, we look waiting in the mine, like waiting, like, you know, Ibrahim, like what a video where I see where they carry the dirty, they all go out and they ship the dirty, they all go out of the country. We don't know waiting the day and not waiting, not waiting the day. Waiting the day, waiting all the day. We know they know. Those are the things, the stupidity where they affect we country, but not the concept privatization. It is not privatization. It is the stupidity. How we go give license to people and we don't know waiting and they can go out of we country. So it is not the concept, it is the stupidity. There was once, like when I talk about that woman, Arikana Chiambori, where they talk about Africa, say Africa they go take debt, where then the Africa where they go take debt now 10%, but when the West they go take debt now 1%. When they charge interest rate, it is based on your risk profile. It's based on your risk profile. It's just like when you go take insurance. Younger people, for driving insurance, then they charge them more because they're susceptible for get them prone to accidents. For men to get accident because they want to impress them. Maybe they want to impress you, you know, like the young man and all that. They're prone for get accident. So they charge them more insurance. The premium is higher. Then in the reverse medical insurance, older people would pay higher medical insurance compared to younger people because the young people they're facing and get long time for leave, except like in like, you know, like very shocking news now ain't gonna make them die. But that's how they so this is the same way. Like when it comes to death, they look at it that way. Imagine the country they conduct election, people and they say we'll move to 2028. People see those things that now bubble where they wait for me and boss and just small penny pin. Alex, if you touch her with you body or you touch her with you fingernail in the boss. So as a result of that, they deem us as too risky. And it's the reason why we are struggling. Why we are paying 10% or whatever it is. 20% interest rate. That's why. So it is not because like they hate we. Again, it goes back. Now we stupidity. Now we the cause up. Now we the cause up. We the people and back go sit down. People like Cherry Coco. We don't destroy that country. We just sit down back and allow them say, okay, you know, you get chance for be flag bearer. That is the reason why then they charge we 10%, 20%. Because the West, when you make one mistake, you they pay dearly. They give you a second chance. This is the reason why then they pay 1%, 2%. We now they continue for pay 10% and 20%. This is the reason. So don't blame the system. Blame our stupidity. Now we they condone the thing them. Now we they allow them for make it happen. Some people so in terms of like the cash flow, we can go and then they say okay 270 billion for that 10 years, they say we get 60 years. So we still get 50 years for we iron all night on Kolili. So it's fine. We can still make money out of the 10 years. And then what's happen? We get, so we know say the revenue in that 10 years, that's 270 billion. Right? What if we ask them, say, okay, that's 270 billion, now the total revenue. But we want factor on a cost inside it. We want factor the profit we want to make. The people that want to employ and all that thing in there. So maybe we ask una for that 10 years, in the first 1 year, una give we 100 billion. Make we go make we hospital. Make we go make water because we get bauxite. We get 7 major rivers or 8 major rivers where we can able kind of like provide water for we people easily. We can able make we school in system. We can standardize with school. Build schools them all over the country, every village, every town. 100 billion. It change Salone. It turn Salone to paradise. And then, but never forget when you do those things to regulate that thing. Never forget it to regulate it. And when you regulate, not all people away, even the weight man and go bribe back for men able still see them. Get paid with them, pay people them well. Imagine just on in Tonkolili alone, transform Salone for we. How it go turn like. This is the concept of privatization we I want to learn about. The hedging side, Salone people, is the fact that when you privatize, I remember like one of the things them when I make when I can jump before then kill fella maradi, I watch people and say look trouble. Salone people, when you use privatization as a hedging strategy, in other words, you've transferred the risk, the market risk, the commodity risk, the interest rate risk, the currency risk, everything, you've transferred it to somebody else. It is not your business anymore. Remember, if we run it ourselves. Again, these are all things them. Before you make the decision to say, oh, we're going to privatize it or we're going to fund it ourselves, these are all the models that we don't put in place, the financial engineering we don't put in place for make sure that, we do them for where they benefit we people. Salon people, when I say these things, I say them with passion because I know how they work. So, one guy, when they talk about privatization, he say, I don't know why people are so full of themselves. He make the comments say how any they talk to me because in picking school fee alone, now my salary for a year. Okay, if even that's the case, but I can tell you, the waiting self must be really expensive. But if even that's the case, what makes you think that and they get people when are billionaires them way they employ me for advice, then they get money pass me far. In fact, they're able to give me lunch every day. But they listen to my advice. They listen to my advice. Some people imagine they give us 100 billion. And then we go and kind of like build schools, hospitals, we build water, make we country, beautify we country, make stadiums them across the country where we don't need for go kind of like play with game them outside the country in Guinea. Imagine, Salon people, how powerful we can become. But the hedging position, Salon people, now the fact that we are not exposed anymore to the market risk. Of course, we get for bear some risk because if it go down in a way where like these companies are badly affected, we need for bail them out. This is the reason why make some people they complain when these companies are bailed out. Because again, what kind of like left them back to expose. You don't left them now, say, oh, well, tell. No, you don't want to do that. Just because on the downside the contract, you left them now, I like they are lucky. Don't do that. A responsible government should never do that. Salon people, you see, when I talk about these things, I know waiting at the talk about. And when I go do research, about it. But privatization is a very, very powerful tool that we can use. But make sure say you check them first. Do a proper check to say, would this work? And you make a decision. Because both nationalization and privatization gets the ups and downs. They get the advantage and disadvantage. Massive. And the reason why I make Boku people and the disadvantage they show in the Western world is because they're using it selfishly. When Singapore and China use it, they use them and they look after them well regulated. Even Donald Trump in deregulation tactics where it could well be now again create avenues again for people. Look like what's in the happen right now. Like you see, this is the reason sometimes like now when Donald Trump they try for push for me they reduce according to what he say for me they reduce like medicine price them now America by 30 to 80%. Waiting that they don't do, it affects the share price of like pharmaceutical companies. However, the damage there is then companies they are most of their expenditure now on research and development. So what's in happen now? It kind of like people kind of like critics then they say it will affect the way where people could actually kind of like develop, especially like the oncology side, like the cancer side, where they spend so much money. For me, you go tell them after how much they don't spend for do the research. When they can do the medicine now, you tell them say them for sell them at a discounted price. So what's in that you go do? You will see how it affect the social side. How it affect the social side. Even though you go say, oh, if the price go down, it go benefit we. But it also, the upside to the people and the social side, it reduce the price of the medicine them. But the downside, they didn't do research again properly for make we even get the medicine them where we actually for buy cheap. You wanna see who side they come out from salon people them? So you go say, oh, the cheap price, they do well. But it kill the ability, the potential of these pharma companies them for able to spend. Like now they spend so forget cancer drugs. Where cancer go be thing of the past. If they can't stop her now, it go benefit we say they pay cheaper medicine price, but it affects we because if people get the money now for buy cheap, the drugs will not be there because these people are not going to do proper research anymore. So a lot of people, this is the way we should be thinking. This is the way we should be thinking about everything. The concept of privatization. Just because democracy, they fail because people in the use them, matter below them, and other people in the use them badly, does not mean it is scam or it is wrong. From where you get money, put money in the hands of like the wrong person, it will waste them, done them, and become useless. But in the hands of somebody where they manage well, trust me, if you get 1 million, it will turn into 4 millions. It is the same as privatization. In the hands of good people, we understand privatization would succeed. If I'm with them, all left for now. I don't want to go in detail. I don't just give you the preamble. As I say, me you do the now we all the do them. Come with your feedback. Add to what I don't say. Criticize to what I don't say. And then we will debate civically. Let's be civil. Not because you say, oh, I got money past you. Oh, so you people, billionaires, then they wait me at the advice. And not only billionaires, them people across the world. They advise them. They guide them. Protect them. Control their cash. Their financial issues. I do. Not to brag, but just by nature of what they do, I have to. Salon people, we can do this. Join the bandwagon. I'm going to continue, but this is the last time I do specific audio about privatization. I would probably they jot in things them where they come to play and give you some example. But this is the last time I would ever do like a whole audio about privatization. I will just be going to talk about it. But let's live and learn, and let's continue to do what's best for Salon. My family, this now on a program, Salon Cashbox. And God bless you now. And I get a very lovely afternoon, evening, and morning. Thank you.